Hello, welcome to the Complete Digital Photography course. We've designed this course to get you shooting at a professional level in the shortest time possible. Please take the time to have a look at the following examples and you'll see that everything you need to shoot at a professional level is included in the course. We'll also give you those professional settings so you'll be able to be shooting exactly the same as the pros. Thanks for having a look. In your viewfinder, draw 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines. Most cameras have this inbuilt in the camera already. Firstly, look at your horizontals. A line through the middle is boring, but a horizontal a third up is preferred, or a third down. Then look at your verticals. A vertical that divides the picture into 2 straight down the middle is boring, but if you have 1/3 on the left or 1/3 on the right, that brings us onto the rule of thirds. The trick is to place your subject along these intersections of the lines. You will see that most new photographers will stick an image smack bang in the middle of the frame. This is a classic scene to use spot metering. You've got a classic backlit scene here where you can almost hardly see the subject because the sun's so bright, and you take a few shots in matrix metering and all you end up is the silhouette because the camera's trying to... You can see here that the matrix metering really can't handle the situation. It's been completely fooled. It's trying to expose to the back part of the photo, and so the front part is completely in shadow and it can't handle it all. But as soon as you kick over to the spot metering mode and make sure that that middle 1% is there on the face, it completely picks up the subject, blows the background out a little bit, but you can get all the details and all the fine details from the face and the body. How can we increase the range of the camera to see the same scene as we do and get the right exposure in a tricky situation? This brings us on to one of the tricks of professionals: exposure bracketing. You dial in how many stops you want to bracket. If I really wanted to, I could have used a process called HDR, which stands for High Dynamic Range, and I could have joined 2 or 3 exposures together to get the right exposure. Luckily my exposure was good enough to use. If you want to have a try at HDR, then shoot a few exposures. I'm starting out here with the diffuser part of the reflector to diffuse the sun. You need to get that diffuser between the sun and your subject. What you are doing is modifying the light from a small harsh light to a big diffused light. Now I've changed over to the silver. The silver increases your highlights and also increases the contrast of the shot. To tone down your flash, you'll need to use the flash exposure control. This lets you reduce the amount of flash. So take the first shot on full flash and start to reduce. Once you have this method under control, you can start to use this in other photos, using your environment to make its own picture frame, using different angles and filling the frame. The good photographer always looks to see if their photos can be improved by cropping. Some professionals quote that up to 70% of their photos are cropped. Sometimes you can find a good picture inside a picture. Always try to look if you can improve your photo by cropping. You can start to crop to use better composition rules, for example, the rule of thirds. Have a look into this example. The original photo was good, but by cropping closer and using the rule of thirds, the composition looks better and you can focus in on the expression of the surfer. Another important thing to improve your photos is to make sure your horizontals and verticals are straight. Nothing looks worse than a great shot spoiled by a bad angle. Sometimes it's tough at the time of shooting to get the picture perfect. Have you ever wondered how those professionals always seem to get the exact moment for a perfect photo? Well, there's actually a trick in this, and it's very simple. It's called continuous shooting. Every modern day SLR camera has this, and it's called either continuous shooting or burst mode. It usually ranges from 3 shots per second up to around 10 shots per second. So go into your camera shake. It causes 90% of all our problems, so let's look at the ways we can do to avoid it. First step is to look at one of these, a tripod. If you have a look at almost every professional, they're always using a tripod. If they're not using a tripod, they're using a monopod. So what we're going to look at here is we're going to look at getting actual white balance. You can do this however way you want to do it. You could do. I'm actually using photographic lights here, which are rated at 5,500. But you can do this outside, inside, or wherever. It's the same process, exactly the same process as what I'm going to do here. So first thing you need is a white or a grey card. It's you can buy these from eBay for, I think they're about $10. Make sure you get a proper white or a grey card. Thanks for taking the time to have a look at these examples. You'll see that they're very easy, simple to follow instructions. Everything has a step-by-step process, and by the end of this course you'll see that you'll be shooting like a pro. Have a look below and look at all the different sections outlined, and you'll see that everything's covered to get you to that professional standard. Thanks a lot for looking. Cheers.